while you present. Just a second. Yeah, so this is coming from, again, my own experience of working with founders, working with startups, as well as established companies who have tried to establish their brand voice, but are still struggling with it. And I spoke to a few ex-colleagues of mine, a few people that I know who are also working in this domain. And based on some of those inputs and some of the work that we are ourselves doing, I've come up with a product which we are calling Clear Frame. And we want to assist you to build your brand OS. And a lot of the time the brand strategy fails because the identity to narrative to communication to performance, it has to be linked, but many times it's not linked. One of the people I spoke to, and you might be familiar with this gentleman called Sidin. He's viral on Twitter, being a journalist. He is also now working as a brand strategist, and he has this fantastic phrase called founders frown. You ask a founder, are you happy with your content? And most of the time the founders will frown. So we want to do away with that frown, right? So it is not a frown when they control it, because they have a voice and they know the product, they know the brand. But when it passes on, when it scales up and they don't have the time personally to look at everything, other people take it, agencies take over, and the consistency is lost. Or sometimes the founders also sometimes don't know what they're saying. Then there's a problem that they have different messages for investors, for customers, and for employees. And if you ask them, why should we buy from you, why should we invest in you, why should we join you, at best you will get three. So for example, if there are three founders, you will get three different answers. At worst, you will get blank stares. People will not be able to probably answer it very well. So what needs to be done is to have uh, the founders control, which is uh, in sync with what the audience wants, and it is scalable. And the brand positioning framework is very simple. Everybody has, anybody who has done an MBA or not done an MBA would also agree that these are frameworks. But the problem is that the thinking part, what is the compelling advantage, what is the frame of reference, what is the target audience, those things are not very clear to people, and they have a lot of disagreements. As I said, if you ask three founders or senior stakeholders, everybody will have a different answer. Can we catalyze that? Many of the founders can't even recognize their own brands. They're like, no, I don't speak like this, we don't speak like this. So what we want to do is have a high level of creativity and consistency, but it doesn't have to suck, because uh, the founders of startups are doing this maybe for the first time, but a lot of the brands have actually figured this out and we can learn from them. We need time, we need effort, we need talented folks, and we need a framework. Where AI comes in, so till this part, we don't need a product, we don't need AI. Where AI comes in is, can we make this easier? Can we reduce the time? Can we reduce the effort? Can we guide the founders and the stakeholders? And can we replicate the talented folks? Yeah. So we start with a business case, we go to discovery, we go to workshop, we create a playbook, and then we fine tune and repeat. Some of the things that we want to output is, first of all, many of the brands don't believe that this is required from a financial point of view. So we first want to convince the CFO, or even if you don't have a separate CFO, the CFO inside the founder, the CFO role inside the CEO. Then we want to understand the context. Then we want to create the founder's mythos. Then we want to create the narrative, and that lets us create the brand OS. This is a sample, a funnel or a financial case. I will come to this in the actual demo. And uh, this is what a typical workshop looks like. I have tried to basically uh, make this into a product. some of the guiding principles of design were, so when I first started building this, a lot of the times the tool was prompting the answers, and that seemed to me to be a problem, because I don't want, if you see an answer, so for example, if you ask what is a tone of voice and you see a prompt, reliable but authentic, etc., you are automatically just thinking about that and not anything else. So we don't want any prompts, and then there are certain frameworks that we want to answer. So now I will just move to the demo. It's in production as well, but maybe I will just take the Replit screen rather than, yeah. So first, as I said, this is a business case. We have a sample funnel over here, and we ask the user to simply put if they expect even a 5 basis point improvement in the CTR, your lead fill ratio also by 5, and your conversion ratio also by 5 basis points, basically from 2 to 2.05, etc., can be uh, it can be instrumental. It can have exponential impact in the CAC reduction. So just a 5 basis points, for example, can have a 2.4% increase in your efficiencies of cost. Similarly, when you add to these, they will compound, and the CAC reduction will be exponential. So these are, first of all, enough to convince any CFO why we need this. Then we move to the next stage, and throughout this, we have the stages that will be there, and we have an example, because we don't expect all users to immediately know a brand OS language. And there are two modes. There's a guided mode and there is a freeform mode. So guided mode is exactly for people who might need some nudging. Let's say, let's choose insurance, HDFC Life is category. So what is the market density? We will ask, are you the first mover, me too, challenger? What is the price tier? In the category itself, is it a well understood or a new need or a new behavior? If you choose, and the examples that you can see, LIC versus Acco, Maruti versus Mahindra Thar, Salesforce versus Notion. If you do guided mode, you will get a lot more of these pre-filled chips that you can choose. Who are your a shopper type? Who is your influencer? So I'm just putting dummy data right now. Some of it is not working in production. So then we want to understand what is the core need that your brand is solving. You will be surprised, a lot of people don't have actually not thought of this. So this actually uh, really helps in defining those. What is the alternative? What do they do right now? Is there a competition or do they do something else entirely? Then what are the substitutes? What are the unmet needs? What is the frequency? What is your advantage? What is your intangible benefit? What is your status quo or current frustration? Then you define your essence, your vision, your purpose, your ikigai framework of your brand. Based on all of the answers, it gets into a brand OS that is created. So there's a prompt in the backend which I've created, which will combine all of these answers in a particular way and then generate these prompts. And then you can download your brand guidelines. And of course, these are fine tunable, and uh, much more iterations can be can be made. It has synthesized in the first place. This part is the part where the real value is. So based on the answers, because we gave really bad answers, these are the outputs are not good. But when we do give real good answers, the brand pillars, the messaging framework, the voice and tone guidelines get created, which can be real, and then of course we can expand from here.
This is awesome.
Yep.
Nimit, this is your first time, right? Like getting into web coding?
Yeah. It's like in the last 2 days, basically. So I built a website with a static website, but functionality-wise is the first time I have made something.
A lot of tabs and details. How did you manage to keep the context in control when you're
Sorry.
I'm saying there's a lot of tabs and context, right? Like, how did you manage to keep this in control when you are coding with LLMs?
I'm not sure what is even the problem because.
So I'm saying there's a lot of
The
functionality
LLM
that
does
you
it?
showed, right? I'm saying because you need to keep the context in like very tight when you're coding
Okay,
with
got
LLMs,
it.
right? Because I see a lot of tabs and a lot of inputs, etc.
Understood. Yeah, let me actually show you. So I have hidden something over here in for the demo, but there was also this section of this is all getting stored in memory, and there is persistence memory. So when you go back, the answers that you have given uh, have been stored, and at any point in time you can so I've hidden that part, but you can download it in a JSON format and then use that to create your own prompts also, and that is where it is getting stored at the backend.
Right. And when you say memory, is it more like what kind of memory is it? Like Postgres or something else?
I am not sure. I read that somewhere in the what Replit was doing, but I don't know.
I see. All right. Okay,
It
so this was
said
done with it. Okay.
PostgreSQL, or we can ask. Maybe.
Got it. No problem. Understood. Okay.
Yeah, so it first suggested that we build something which is completely chat based, and I felt that is not the right way because I want to have a guided a discussion. A chat based a UI you can do with a chat GPT, but the thing is founders and stakeholders, we want to make them understand what are the right questions to ask in the first place. So this is what this framework is basically doing. We are nudging the people. That's why we also have a guided mode or an unguided mode. So ideally it should be an unguided mode where you don't really give any prompts at all, because when you give a prompt it biases your thinking, like that famous example of don't think of a pink elephant, and now you're obviously thinking of a pink elephant. So we don't want to do that.
Awesome.
Nimit, what is it AI assist in the right for exactly?
So this is not yet live, but this is where you can ask the AI chatbot about each of these questions. So you're struggling, I am not sure what my tangible benefit is. So you can chat with the chatbot and brainstorm on each of these questions. And it will have the memory from the previous times.
Okay.
That's the idea. That feature is not live yet.
Sure.
Yeah, and then we generate and then we download the guidelines.
Awesome. Fantastic. Cool. Karthik,